Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Brick Cave Podcast. Oh, I should not do that. My name is Bob Nelson. I am one of your hosts for this fantastic event, which really sort of happens infrequently. Joining me today is the wonderful and always talented Jennifer Windrow, who I cannot think of any cool, clever thing to introduce her with.
I'm brain dead from teenagers.
Literally, I said to her, I can't think of anything, so you're gonna have to save me.
And I'm not gonna save you.
I know. You're gonna let me flounder. She's
tired.
out. She's done. Peace out. She's been teenagered to death.
Yes, I have.
Oh my goodness.
So we do have a guest today. Joining us is the lovely Patience Allen with Bonny Books.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, Patience Allen.
Hello.
And we're gonna talk to you in just a moment, but I do need to make sure everybody knows we are here in the lovely University of Phoenix podcast room at the Mesa Chamber of Commerce in beautiful downtown Mesa, Arizona, where we do this podcast whenever we can get everybody in the same room at the same time.
We're all available.
So, yes.
Which has been hard lately.
So, Patience, welcome. Tell us a little bit about Patience.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I have a bookstore. It's a pop-up bookstore called Bonny Books that we started in 2014. So it's been really exciting. It's been a little bit of not really a challenge. I'd say it's been a learning experience. So it's been just my passion. And it's my hobby / passion because I have a day job.
Let me ask you, because I'm curious about the idea of a pop-up bookstore. And obviously, clearly I'm asking this merely for you to explain because I've been through a lot of this journey with you.
Yes.
So I do understand a lot of this. But I think there's an interesting story to tell in the fact that this is a non-traditional, kind of sort of brick and mortar, but not brick and mortar business.
So why is it a pop-up?
Exactly. Why is it a pop-up?
It's a pop-up because it is, it's my research is what I'm kind of calling it.
Okay.
Because my dream is when I graduate from the day job, I want to really put my heart into my passion, which is reading and encouraging people to find what they love and to do what they love, because I feel like books make you brave, and that's kind of what it does. And hopefully there will be a brick and mortar, but for now we've got a pop-up where I can actually serve the local authors in the area who would like to be everywhere but can't be everywhere. So we help them be in more places. Is that kind of what you wanted? So pop-up books, we kind of just set up a little sample, a couple, maybe I would say anywhere from 25 titles to a couple hundred titles in one place, depending on the event and how large it is, how small it is. We do a small setup in the bookstore, or not the bookstore, but in coffee shops, which is just a quick pop-up, my favorite 15 titles that I think relate to the event, or a full-on 10 by 10 tent where I bring in as much books as I can and introduce them to as many people as I can.
So it kind of depends on the event that you're going to.
Yep. So we do locals, we do small publishers, large publishers. We bring out as much as we can to get that variety there.
So you do how many events a year?
I would say we do about 24 a year. We have monthly events.
So a couple every month on average.
We have about two to five every month.
Okay. So that's a lot of stuff.
That's
a busy schedule.
It is. It's fun though. I love it. It's not really work. It's fun. It's fun.
Tell me about this concept, because this is non-traditional, right? We have traditionally been led to believe, hey, if you need a book, you go to the bookstore, you go to Amazon, you go online, you just buy the book. This, clearly there is an opportunity for this sort of representative temporary installation. It's almost like a temporary art installation in some ways, right? What have you learned? I
think we're meeting people where they are.
Right.
So we go. Today, everything is online. Everything is very impersonal, and so we find those niches where people are really gathering and meeting each other, sharing ideas, and just relaxing and having a good time, like a coffee shop or a local fair, or even just a big community event where storytellers gather. So we try to take advantage of those opportunities to really share and encourage.
So here's a loaded question. Who's your favorite independent author and small publisher?
Oh my goodness. favorite small publishers. That's Brick Cave Media, of course.
You're so awesome.
I know. And I can't say who because I'm going to meet with a couple of authors tomorrow. If I don't say the right name, I could be in trouble.
Well, just think of who you're in the room with right now.
All right.
No, I don't think she's read anything in mine.
Yeah, no, I haven't read yours, but I
You
did
have
pass
mine,
out
right?
quite a few.
Yes, you did.
I did. I love
So,
'em.
in addition to Bonny Books,
Yes.
you also participate. You help organize a local poetry event.
I do, District 4 poetry.
So tell us about that.
It's District 4 because it's in Mesa, which is District 4. We do it at a local coffee shop, Jared's Coffee, Tea, and Gallery. And I just love his environment. It's very welcoming, very open. You get a variety of people who come in with different ideas and talents. And what we do is third Thursdays of every month we meet there. We do an open mic for poets. We've got about 3 to 5 minutes to read some poetry. It's a very casual environment. Everyone's very encouraging. We've even seen, kids as young as 12 read, and it's just been a very welcoming place. And we get a lot of, every week someone comes up to me and says, hey, I've never read in public before, and this was really comfortable. So I love
Jen,
to
have you
support
ever done
those.
poetry?
Not poetry, no.
So
But
if I challenge you on the podcast and say, hey, would you bring us a poem next week
Oh
or
my
next
goodness.
month?
I could try.
Would you do?
You could
Actually, it
totally
would be
do it
next
a
week,
haiku.
huh?
I could try.
Can you
Cheat.
try it? Do
Can
a
it be
haiku.
dirty?
Cheat and do a haiku. Do a dirty
Yeah.
haiku.
Well, we're not censored on this show.
Do a
We're
dirty,
not censored
dirty
on
limerick.
this show. Do it.
I actually
love
write
it.
a character in one of my books who recites dirty limericks all the time.
Oh,
so.
well,
She's
there
already
you
got
go.
something to
So
pull
we're
out of the
good.
bag.
We got this. All right. So next week, next
No,
show.
not next week. No, because you.
Oh
have-
yeah, we've got somebody else
no,
next
not,
week. We got a special
no,
guest.
I'm not
next
doing that
week.
by
That's
in a
right.
week.
All right, next month. Then
I will write a poem.
It'll be the Jen Poetry Hour.
Oh, that's good.
Well-
That'll be
Great.
fun.
The Jen Poetry 7.5
Love it.
minutes probably.
Or 5 seconds,
five.
depending on how long.
All right. I'll promise you, if you bring a poem, I will bring a poem as well.
Okay.
All right. very
I'm
good.
not. I've never written poetry before, so I don't.
I cut my teeth on poetry, so I organized poetry for
So
like
yours will
20
be
years.
much better than mine.
No, I didn't say I was any good at it. I just said I wrote poetry for a long time. So,
Not good.
so Patience,
Yes.
you do
yes,
some
I'm
other
back,
stuff
I'm
as
back.
well, right?
Yes.
So, you help organize a writers' conference.
I do. The Cirque du Livre, right?
Yeah, leave. Yes.
Yes. I always say it wrong. I try to
It's
add
all
a little
right.
fancy to it, you know?
You get a little,
I
little
love
uppity with
it. I do because, it's always fun.
So, talk about that.
Oh, it's April every year, I think. It's around April.
24th through the 26th.
I know.
I was
It's
gonna say,
really
this
early in the
happened, like, a couple
spring.
months ago.
Yeah.
It's in the spring. I love it. I really do. It's a place where authors get together, and it's for authors, by authors, and they pull in some publishers, right? Don't you pull in?
Well, at
some
least
publishers?
one.
Yeah, we have at least one publisher
At
that
least
shows
one.
up.
We pull in at least one.
So we just try to really help local authors who have published, who haven't published, figure out their craft a little bit more, hone that in, and also give them the full spectrum. So sometimes we'll have guests come in to talk about, book covers, book content, how to work with booksellers, how to work with publishers. I mean, it covers pretty much everything that they would need to know to get started and to get better. No?
No,
Am I
I'm just,
lying
I'm making
completely?
no. You're totally
I
good.
thought I heard that.
I'm full disclosuring that another person in this room might actually be the executive director of that writers conference. Well, people need to know. I don't want to pull wool over anybody's eyes.
All right. Not that there's leading going on.
Not that
but,
there's anything going on there, but
We're good. We're good. But I love that one. That one's really fun.
It is actually a lot
I think
of
it
fun.
is so great to see
It's-
people just jump in and they give real feedback to each other, and you can just see the excitement and you could see the creativity flowing and the encouragement.
So let's talk a little bit more about Bonny. So what kinds of things do you do to build community through Bonny? Like, how can people get engaged with Bonny Books?
We try to do as many local events as we can. We have a book club that we're starting up that's sort of a once a quarter book club because, it's hard to get reading done, especially.
I saw that you posted a title. What's
Yeah,
the
and
first
how
book?
are you?
Wicked
I'm
Saints.
curious about that.
Wicked
actually.
Saints. Yes. For Wicked Saints, that one we chose because I just recently read it. It was really exciting. It kind of covered romance a little bit, some sci-fi, a little bit of fantasy. It felt like it had a little bit for everyone. It was a quick read, So that was another thing that I like.
Who's
It's
that
a
by?
quick read. Nancy. No, is it Nancy?
She's unprepared.
I am prepared.
We got her.
It's right
But
here
you
on
don't
my
have your
phone.
notes, so
Well, I didn't even make a script, so whatever.
We
I'm totally
said
good with that.
improv. I want to say it's Nancy Duncan, but I could be wrong. I know the last
Are
name's
you
Duncan.
are you doing it with local authors, or are you just kind of picking any author?
I'm just picking any author. I can pick some local authors, but I haven't. My stack is pretty large, and I try to mix them in between. So I haven't hit a local author yet in that list. It's
So how many
I read
people
like
do you
3 or 4 books.
How many people do you have participating right now?
No, this is going to be our first quarterly.
Oh, okay. So this
Yeah.
is the first one.
It's the
Okay,
first
okay.
one. It's the first
So
one.
if people want to participate,
They can still do it.
How do they get? How do they?
They can go to the website
Yeah.
or BonnyBooks.com, Bonnie with a Y, BONNY. Or they can go to Facebook, which is Facebook. We've got Bonny Books there. It's Bonny Bookstore. And I had it up, and I don't know why it just didn't save it for me. But anyway, I'll send it.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
posted it.
we'll
It's
put
on
it
our
in the-
Facebook, and it's
well,
on
we'll
our
link to
website.
we'll link to you in the description of the show, so that's fine. Don't worry about that.
Thanks.
Hey,
You're
That's
awesome.
what we're here for. That's what
We
do.
love it.
That's
So
what
we're
we
doing
do at
that.
the Brick Cave Podcast.
That's our other way to reach out and to greet with people. We also have Meet Your Literary Community coming up. That's going to be October the 5th.
Ooh, what's that?
And that is downtown Phoenix. They bring a bunch. There's a farmers market there, and they bring together a bunch of people that month or that day they're going to bring a sideline of authors. Usually there's about 20 or 30 authors, and everyone gets an open mic opportunity. We like to be there to just meet new authors and introduce them to each other. And then also what we do is we build a community poem, so everyone that stops by gets to leave a line for the poem, and we'll put that up on our website just to kind of keep it fun. So I really love it. I think it's great.
So,
Really? Do what?
This is how I break things up. I just
what?
make weird
You
guttural
just do.
sounds
You
that
just
just
do.
kind of like
It's
throw
fine.
everything out and make things weird. So, fall, busy
Fall.
time of year, right?
So busy. Yes.
We're getting into September. Everybody starts to fall back into their rhythms of being back in school.
Mm-hmm.
Jen actually gets maybe a bit of rest, maybe
I
not.
don't think so.
Maybe not. So,
I'm a zombie for the rest of the school year.
how old are yours this year?
14 and 12, freshman and a junior high.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's fun.
Ooh. All right. Well, so
New
Jen
and
is
interesting.
not.
I'm
going to
be a zombie for the rest of
Jen's
the
not
year.
a good example of that.
No.
But September, October's got that
Halloween.
great holiday. My favorite holiday of the
I
year.
love it.
Yeah.
They do the trick or treat down Main Street, which we're participating in this year.
Uh-huh.
So we'll have some authors doing scary stories at Jared's
Okay.
coffee shop.
Uh-huh.
And we'll have a pub set up outside with a 10 by 10 tent. So we're going to have a full showing, and we'll have some author signings available. I'm sending out the message to my authors to see if any would like to participate.
Well, don't look
I
at me.
know.
'Cause
I'm looking
just-
at all of you.
I'm just the
I'll
host.
participate.
I'm the host of
I'm
the
looking at all my authors.
I'll participate.
I'm looking at.
I need to get better at being more locally involved.
Yeah, just jump in there. I just hang out, have a coffee, and people talk. That's all you're going to do. Say
Well,
hi.
it's
You
Jared.
say hi.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? What's up?
Do like a
people? What are
speed
you writing?
dating for authors.
Oh, that's
Just have them
fun.
come around and
Well,
meet,
we tried
you know.
that, didn't we? At Cirque, we were doing a.
Well, she's talking about readers.
Oh,
Yeah,
readers.
Like a speed dating.
Yeah.
for
Oh,
authors
that's a
come
good
and
idea.
Trunk or
kinda-
That is a
treat.
good idea.
Do you want a real full-size candy bar? Because you got to sit and talk with me for 3 minutes.
Yeah, like a speed dating.
For
You give them
real
Do you want the
You know,
small
literally, it
miniature
took me a minute.
chocolate?
It took me a minute to be like, what are you talking about? Like, I know I said that we weren't that kind of a show, but come on. Seriously.
No, it's trick or treat.
No,
I
it'd
know.
be kind of fun to have speed dating for authors and have the readers come through, the authors sitting there, and the readers just kind of, they might end up finding a book that they love that they never
Yeah,
thought that
I
they
know,
would
I
in a
bet,
million
yeah.
years.
Exactly.
Be interesting.
So, Small Business Saturday's
Yes.
coming up in November. So,
We're doing Small Business
Thanksgiving
Saturday.
will be here before we know it, right?
Oh, so fast.
Too
fast.
I will be playing video games
What?
most of the entire weekend. Yeah, that's
I'll be
that's.
cooking.
So both of my daughters are of age where they live on their own. So they're like, yeah, whatever, we don't care. We'll come,
That's
maybe we'll
good.
come over and have turkey for a little while, but then we got to go party because we're mid-20s and
That's
that's
what
what we do.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so So I'll be playing video games for most of the weekend. Although, for those of you that don't know, I also have a gig with our local Chamber of Commerce where I send people emails all day long and harass them to come to events. But so that Saturday is Small Business Saturday, and you've got some stuff going on with that too.
Yes, we're again going to be at Jared's because we love working with him. He's so much fun. We'll have some authors there. We're going to try our best to get some publishers there so that new authors who meet at Jared's for some feedback from other authors. They have some smaller groups that meet, author groups that meet there, and we'd like to encourage them and give them a place to read a little bit of their work and hopefully get some feedback and get some notification or some notoriety from local publishers that just kind of gives them something that they need to move forward and to keep them encouraged.
So what's the local publisher market look like to you?
There's not very many out there that I've seen. So I have
Not
to
here,
do a lot of
not in
research
Phoenix.
between now and then, see if I can pull in some people. I may be able to pull in some of my outside of Arizona, outside of Phoenix people to come in, but I haven't got anything confirmed yet.
Okay, well, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Because I
He's
have
trying
my.
to do his competition.
I know.
I mean, I know.
out there.
I know what I
There's a
think the market
couple.
looks
I've
like.
got a couple, but it's
I know
it's
what I
small,
think the market
I think.
looks like, but
From my perspective, it feels small because I haven't run into many people who've given me their card to say, hey, I'm a publisher. I've got a list of books that I'd like to sell. I've had probably, besides Bob, I've had a couple of people, maybe 3, give me their card, but none of them have actually followed up after I've made connections with them. So I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what happened to them.
they're busy.
But,
They're busy publishing.
they get busy. They get busy doing their
We're doing
publisher
it.
thing.
We're working.
They're working. They're making
know.
books. They're making books. And I'd like to kind of try to get some of those books and sell them, but,
So if you're a publisher out there listening right now, how do
Bonnie
people
would
get
like
a hold
you.
of you, Patience?
they can send me an email through Facebook because I'm the one that answers all of the messages that go through Facebook. They can go to bonnybooks.com and send a notification there through the contact us or at patience@bonnybooks.com.
Very cool. And you do internet orders, right? People can order books through your
Yes.
site.
Yep.
So if there's let's say the Reader's Group book, or you want people to pick it up, they can order it through you.
Yes, there's a link on there right now if they wanted to go in and order something themselves. But I'm not turning people away just because they didn't buy it from me, because I feel like just reading and chatting about it is way more important than
Where they get
getting
it
the
from,
sale.
yeah.
So
And they might want to read it on Kindle. And they
exactly.
wanna,
And
listen
we
to
do
an audiobook. Or
Yeah, we do
whatever.
audiobooks too. So right now we've just started to offer the audiobooks, which I'm really excited about.
So right now, what do you see happening in the publishing world? Like, what's
There's a lot of merges going on from what I've seen on the billboard. So I get the America's Bookseller Association emails, and there's a lot of merging going on right now. So we're not sure where it's all going to land.
There's a lot of lines being canceled in big publishers
Yes.
too. A lot of romance lines being slashed
Yeah, I noticed that too.
completely.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how it's going to land, but I see there's a lot of books that I can't get to right now. We'll get emails that say, hey, there's a merger. They've got a couple of these books. Oh, wait, nope, they're gone. So we're losing our variety of things that we can order from them.
In the publishing world as an author watching it, it's getting harder and harder to get picked up, to even get looked at. They're very, very picky. Women's fiction, very big right now. You can sell the crap out of women's fiction. Thrillers are still pretty good, but romance they're not buying. They're not buying UF. They're not buying fantasy very much.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because that's kind of where we're at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we're 8-10 manuscripts deep that we need to get finished and get out. We just released 2 books last week. We've got 2 more books coming out in a couple weeks. But even beyond that, we've still got 8 or 10 manuscripts. And we're a small, we're a teeny house. So there's 4 of us. Me and the 3 interns of doom.
Oh my goodness, those poor guys.
That's what I'm going to call them now, is the interns of doom.
That's horrible.
Because they're awesome.
I think it's a good opportunity, though, for you guys, for the smaller press to come up.
But here's the thing, right? So you can only work a manuscript so fast, and there's no point in taking a manuscript if you can't do it, right?
Right.
Right.
Right now the average book's 2 years from acceptance to publication.
That's what my first one was with my small
and
press.
it's just not fair to the author. And what we say to every author that we take on, it's like, dudes, we're not doing anything you can't do yourself, right? Yes, we do it so that you don't have to. That's the benefit of choosing the press over doing it yourself. But if you don't want to wait the 2 years, you don't have to wait the 2 years. Just go do it. If you've got the energy and the passion and the commitment and the money to go do it, then go do it.
See, my press signed me, and I had no clue that it was going to be. It was 18 months from the time I signed to the time I released, but they didn't tell me that.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't hear from them for a year after I signed. And I was like, I kept emailing him, like, are we still publishing this? And then one day they said, oh, here's some book covers. And I was like, wait a second. Okay, now we're working, but a lot of presses don't tell you that it is literally going to take forever.
It's 2 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And
it's 2 years. And I just see that getting worse because they are going to try and hit, right? They want to try and get the hits. So they're going to try and take only the manuscripts that they have the greatest opportunity to hit with, which means, hey, we don't need as much staff because we're not going to just throw stuff out hoping one of them's going to hit. We're going to actually narrow it down, and we're only going to put out what we know we can put some money behind and promote and get a hit out of. So, I only see that getting worse over time. But what does that mean? What does that mean for Jen? So, Jen's out there hustling, right? She's building her own brand, right? She is the CEO of
I'm the everything.
Jen Windrow Enterprises, right? She's the boss.
I'm the worst boss ever, by the way. Like, nothing gets done.
But what does that do for her in the future as these changes occur within the business market? What do you think?
I think it'll be tougher. She's definitely going to have to push more. Find out who everyone is that she needs to talk to. And I mean, I think there's no shame in self-publishing. You just have to know what you're getting into.
I will say it is easier self-publishing than it was with my press. So I did four books with my press. And I still had to push. I still had to meet people. I still had to market. I still had to do all of that. And the reason I walked was because if I'm doing all of this, why am I paying them when I can buy a software? And actually with one of my series, I was doing my own covers. So it was like, why am I paying them 35% out of, the little bit that we get for them to do everything? So that's why I took all mine back. And I have made double on my own than what I made in the 3 years with my press.
And that makes sense because they're pushing for so many other people and you're just pushing for you. And I think a lot more, I don't know, I can't speak for other booksellers, but I think for me, I don't look down on self-published. The only thing I like to do is vet them a little bit more just because you want it to look professional. You want them to have that professional editing done. You want them to have an outside opinion or feedback on what it really looks like. And if you think that they haven't done that, then I may be a little bit more wary of picking them up.
You do have to be. No, I agree. There's some self-published that are absolutely horrendous, and there's some self-published that you can tell they've gone the extra mile. I mean, I am fortunate that my critique partners are both developmental editors, so I get that from them. But then I pay a copy editor because I couldn't tell you where a comma goes. I don't really care where a comma goes. That's why I pay her to tell me where the commas go, and I'm good. She gets it, and I don't have to worry about it, and we're good to go. So I pay a copy editor, and I pay professional cover designer because those are important to me. Those are and I don't want to, we were just discussing, I blew past my release date and I'm now getting the penalty from Amazon because I didn't feel the book was ready and I wasn't going to put out crap. I just wasn't going to do that. It's not worth it to me to ruin my series and my name to just meet a date.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. Definitely. That makes me feel much more confident of putting your book out for sale at my pop-ups.
Right.
So for those that are interested, I'm going to segue just a little bit because I know there's some tools out there. If you are, say, your patients, you're looking for titles, or if you're Jen and you're looking to make sure your books meet that muster, there is actually a checklist the Independent Book Publishers Association of America has published that you can go through and make sure your book meets a certain standard. And that's what they did that with the intent of helping their members meet that standard that booksellers would be confident to carry the book. So you can check that out. I think it's IBPA-org.
We'll put it in the notes.
I'll put it in. It'll be in the description.
We'll just put
It'll
it
be
in the
description. All right, so now, quick question.
Yes.
Barnes & Noble merger. Good, bad, or do you care?
Oh. I don't know. It's a little sad.
Jen, good, bad, or do you care?
I think it's going to be rough while it's happening, but I think after hearing and reading some of the things that I've read of the plans for it, I think it will be good in the end. He seems a little more inclusive of indie published authors, like he's willing to maybe accept them a little bit more, which I think will help a lot, because really indie publish is taking over a lot of the publishing industry, and
I love it.
I think, them being shut out of there has been a problem, but I think if he can include them, it's going to end up being a good thing for a lot of authors.
I'm excited about it. I think that if you look at their track history with Waterstones in England, it demonstrates that they empower local stores to make important decisions, and they work to empower that connection to the community. So I think you're going to see, and I'll be honest with you, I have, as a publisher, a pretty good relationship with Barnes & Noble. They've been very good to us. Our tour last year was 90% at Barnes & Noble because they had the resources to order the books, have them in stock. They were supportive of us. They had wonderful signage when you arrived at the store to do the signing. It was all fantastic.
They
right?
advertise.
They advertise. They promote. You've got the brand. You got the power of the brand behind you. We were very well treated by them, and I'm optimistic that will continue, and hopefully we'll see some of the opportunities that maybe they haven't been able to take advantage of that they'll now be able to take advantage of. So. I'm excited about it. I think it's a good move in the long run. So
I think they needed to make the move.
Clearly,
yeah.
I think clearly they were a ship without a rudder.
Yeah,
and
they were definitely adrift.
They had leadership that wasn't quite sure where to go, right. and I honestly I think they had leadership that was not book people. And was not focused on the book industry.
And that's the thing. You can't have somebody running a book company that's not a book person.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's one thing to have a retail-focused talent running your book, your business. But, clearly they were out of touch with
what was happening in the industry.
And their response to that was not at all in step
with
what needed to
it was
happen.
the opposite of what they needed to do.
So I, for one, am excited about it. I think it's a book-focused organization that has taken them over, and I think we're going to see a lot more book-focused programming, a lot more book-focused effort, and, hopefully, cross your fingers, a rebound for them.
It's going to be a little bit of a mess.
It's going to be a short-term mess. It always is. But
I hope we can keep our Barnes & Noble. There's not very many of them around.
I still love walking into Barnes & Noble. I read mostly on a Kindle now, but I'll still go in there and all the pretty books and touch them.
It is. I love it.
I'm a bookish Barnes & Noble account.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love Barnes & Noble. I really do. I if I need something and I can't get it from a publisher right away, I'll go there.
Yeah.
So, along those same lines, just to transition a little bit, as a member of the ABA,
right.
What news are you hearing about indies? Are you seeing more indies opening? Are you seeing fewer indies? What are you hearing from your
We're having more indies open. We're definitely getting a lot more organized. We're opening more, but I did see something that where our sales are kind of lagging a little bit. Not sure what they're contributing that to, but it's
independent booksellers.
Independent bookstore sellers. Our sales have gone down just a bit, but.
Well, we were discussing.
I don't
July
think
and
that
August.
it's definitely
You know,
Right. I think they compare year over year, and they said have gone down a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But we were going on an uptrend,
Right.
and you can't constantly. I mean, when I look at trends, they're never always
I think
up.
there's
there's always that little bit of
a
change.
huge amount of. I mean, in the bigger picture, there's a huge amount of headwind against all retail right now, and a lot to give people a reason to pause and be a little concerned. So I don't necessarily know that would be a book industry thing.
Yeah, I'm not concerned with. I mean, it doesn't sway me away from where I'm going and what I
still buy books.
Doing with Bonny Books.
I buy books all the time.
Yeah, I think
my husband looks at my digital orders. And he's like, "Oh Lord, I don't even want to see it."
I think it's part of the change of what people are looking for. I think
Yeah,
they're looking for more
yeah.
of the smaller. They're looking for something that's more, something that feels more like them, more like home. Because a lot of the books that are places that are opening are very cozy.
So as sort of a non-traditional business, right? Do you find that you have people that seek you out? Do you have like a Bonny Books clan or?
No, I don't think we have a clan yet. We don't really have a clan. I don't think so.
Gang?
I don't think we have a gang or the Bonny Books.
The Bonny cult?
The Bonny cult.
Yeah, the Bonny
Cult
gang.
of Bonny.
Book cult. I don't know what they call them, but no, I don't. I mean, we've got a decent amount of people, but I wouldn't say that they seek us out. I think they seek more of our events. They like to go to, District 4. I'm expecting a huge turnout tomorrow for, the Brick Cave takeover.
Well, of course.
So that's going to be really fun.
So I will say if you're in earshot of this and you can be at Jared's, there's a couple of things that are happening. We are going to have proofs on hand for both Bill Campana's new poetry book and Patrick Hare's first book of poetry. So I'll be delivering those proofs to them to look at.
That's exciting.
Tomorrow night.
I'm super excited.
So that'll be exciting.
Yes.
We did, as I said earlier, we just released 2 books last week. J.A. Junta's book, War Golem, which if you've been paying attention to the whole sort of hubbarole about violent video games and how violent video games have supposedly created these violent people, you really should read this book because I could not have timed this release.
Oh my goodness.
any
that is so good.
better.
Yeah.
We've had this manuscript about 1.5 years, and literally it is the story of goblins that decide that they are going to build this golem, this metal golem robot, to do their bidding. And they want to summon this evil spirit to be in their golem and do what they tell them to do. And so they go through and they do this ceremony and they summon this golem, and it ends up being a pissed off teenager. And so
did you just give a spoiler?
He did. He spoiled it.
No, actually, I did not, because that's on the back of the book.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's all
right.
But that's the point. The point is that you think you're getting one thing,
and you get something else,
and you get something totally different, and it's
always a pissed off teenager. So.
Well, but the thing is that it's
I live with 2 of them.
It's a great. The fantastic part about this book, and this is probably something I need to really put out and promote, is that it's not like the kid isn't what you expect.
Typical.
Well, not even that. It kind of shows how complicated that is, right? Because this kid that plays video games
hormones?
suddenly finds himself in a real life situation where he has to take a life, and it talks about that, and it's in the fantasy book setting, right? So it's storytelling. There's golems, and there's
goblins
but it's there, and it really kind of, I think, drives home that story a little bit, and it drives home that point that don't judge that based on that, because there's a whole lot more involved than what you're saying. So it's a really good book. I'm pitching it because, this is the Brick Cave podcast, so I can do that.
You should totally, and I should get a couple copies. We've got some fans that
they should be here.
Pick up a couple
Friday, Saturday.
All right, let me know.
Like that.
I got some peeps. I got to go let them know there's
another one
coming out.
So
they like his stuff. They ask me all the time when he's bringing something else out.
Other book that we just released, which is probably one of the most, if not the most anticipated books that we have yet to release, is the 3rd book for the Healer's Legacy trilogy. So that book has finally been written, and got to me, and we've gotten it out. So I'm sure if you've been online, you've seen the fantastic cover that Aponda Kruin did. I can't say enough about how awesome he is in his artwork. He's just amazing.
Did he do all the other two?
He did them all. He did them all. He's also doing Bruce's series too, the Magic series, so the Platinum Magic series.
Okay.
Which that book will be out. The Gold Magic, the second book in that series, probably be out before the end of the year. You see, this is where you start to see like there's manuscript after manuscript after manuscript after manuscript, and so it things take time, right? And we've got a new sci-fi book coming out from Louise Robertson, who is right now we've done a book of poetry for her.
Yes.
But this will be her first sci-fi story, and it's really a good story. And again, it's taken time to get it to this point. And she, like everybody, hey, when are we doing this? I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to get out and sell this book. Let me get out there. I want to get out there, right? And it's true.
You always feel like that with you first. And
well,
it's like,
but
crap, now I gotta do this again.
But it's legit, and you gotta just, hey, we're working on it. We're getting there. We've got to get these two out, and then we got to get this out, and then we got to get this out. So it's a challenge, right? So then, of course, when you do get it, you're like, okay, we got to make up for this difference. We got to make that work, and we got to make up for the fact that we've asked this poor author to wait 2 years to get this book out. So you're out there going nuts, trying to market the living daylights out of these books, and it's just crazy. So, all right, any last closing thoughts? Because we've already been at this 36 minutes.
Oh, no, 36 minutes?
Yeah.
How long are they normally?
I don't know, 15, 20, whatever.
Oh, we're way over.
Whatever we
That's
talk.
okay.
Whatever
Just babble. We're good.
whatever we talk about. It's just us
we're good.
talking.
I think I got every. Did I get everything?
Did you touch everything?
Did you want to touch the book festival or save that for next
The
time?
Mesa Book Festival coming up on
Yes.
December 14th, 2019 at Benedictine University in Mesa, Arizona.
There you go. You touched it.
Yeah, I think we're
All
good.
right, good. We're good. That's the only thing.
We'll have you back when we get closer to that. We'll have you back and we can go over like all the guests.
That's going to be fun. I'm super excited.
Maybe we can even get Jennifer Roberson to come up and sit with us. I think that would be hilarious. So, you don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know. We need to get the Clute in here is what we need to do.
Oh.
Well, we had him here a couple weeks ago. So
Yeah, but we need to get him back because he's just
He's got the
entertaining.
radio voice.
Well, and he's entertaining.
He is
He's
very
energetic and
Yeah.
he's exciting to be around. And not that you're not exciting to be
Yeah,
around.
I get to
Very
hang out with
exciting.
him.
Oh, my
I
Lord.
get to hang out with him in Prescott. That'll be fun.
Well, there
Yeah,
you
he's
go.
really fun.
I just pester him online whenever I need something.
He and I are always next to each other at like Comic Con
Always?
and that. We're always within a couple booths, and so we chat and we talk and we get in each other in trouble, and we and I know his pitch and he knows my pitch. And
Oh,
we're
my
good to go.
goodness.
We
I
got
think I'm going to
it.
wear the shark fin tomorrow.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I'm going to put the shark fin on. He's got the shark fin that does
All
the
right,
lights.
Very good. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much, Patience, for
No, thank
joining
you.
us today. I hope you felt as though this was worth your time.
Yes, totally welcome. I love it. I
Very
love
good.
hanging out with you guys.
Excellent. Good. Jen, as always, thank you for being here and for sharing the microphone time
Yes.
and learning about yet another individual out there in the literary world. We are here, of course, at the University of Phoenix Podcast Room in the beautiful Mesa Chamber of Commerce in beautiful downtown Mesa, Arizona. And you can find this podcast anytime you'd like. BrickCaveMedia.com, BrickCavePodcast.com, or your favorite podcast distribution point. My name is Bob Nelson.
Jennifer Windrow.
Patience Allen.
Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Thanks for listening. And we will come at you soon, probably sooner than you know, because we actually have to catch up a little bit. And we've got, I forgot what I booked, but I booked us for another podcast next week. So
21st.
yeah, so we got another person coming in. So,
I love
all right, I'm out. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.